now.
Welcome to Doctor on Call with your host, DocGriffon. The Doctor will be with you momentarily. Our guest this evening is YouTube content creator Ichabod Orange. The following Doctor on Call contains 8 essential vitamins and minerals that every growing boy and girl needs. This interview is an important part of a nutritious breakfast and stays crunchy in milk. Who knew a talk show could be so delicious and good for you? DocGriffon, paging DocGriffon, you're in need. You're needed in the OR stat.
And thank you very much, Nurse Steam. That was good. What are you giggling over there for? She did good.
Mm-hmm.
See, and of course, as long as you don't try to push a Scottish accent, she comes through. It's all money.
That's very true. She's also a wonderful co-host.
And welcome everyone to Doctor on Call. Tonight's patient is a very interesting study, especially taking the semi-profile with the YouTubes. And without getting into any type of prognosis or diagnosis at this point, I would just like to bring on and say welcome to the Coon of Doom himself, Ichabod Orange. And
Thank you.
And how are you this evening, sir?
I'm doing all right. You know how it is. It's kind of bouncy between. That's kind of the life of a content creator. At some points you're down, some points you're up. So I'm just that good upswing at the moment.
Well, and I'm sure we've got listed down in the descriptor. Not only your Twitter, but we do have your YouTube as well, and of course where you set up your Q&A for the audience to follow along at Ask FM. We do have all of that linked down there, and I would advise, because it's hilarious. Recently they did outtakes. I don't know what the outtake was for, but they did outtakes. And they're completely hilarious, and I'm hoping we'll get a link thrown into the chat before the end of this, so everybody can stop by and get a giggle too, because it's definitely worth the time.
Yeah, if you do drop by, it's me, Miss Steam, Lo-Fi, and then a couple of their friends that come in. It's called an unedited attempt at voice acting. It's a pretty good short series.
And of course, it's also a lot of fun to see Scottish people pinch hitting.
Yeah, no, Akiho was pretty cool coming in and helping out like that, because you know, it's even I might be okay at like switching around voices, but yeah, it's not easy to actually pull it off with the Scottish.
Well, especially the brogue that they had listed, because you guys will get to read along.
Yeah,
you guys will be able to see it. So, and wow, yeah, that brogue is rough. But yes, but tonight is all about yourself, Ichabod Orange, and so I honestly really would like to start, as I normally do, from the beginning. Did you grow up urban, suburban, rural?
What, where I grew up?
Yeah.
Well, I grew up, like I had started out in, I was born in Salina. And then my parents had moved us down into Dodge City. And we stayed there for the longest time. But my mother, for some reason, thought that the house was haunted. So ended up selling it and moving down into the Eudora area, where I spent most of my life growing up. It was weird because by the time I was starting to actually get like functional, it had gotten to this point where my brothers were already known troublemakers, and my parents weren't much better. So I was the youngest, so I was kind of caught a whole lot of shit. I was never really well liked. That's the easiest way to put it. I was not a well liked young man.
Now, were you an only child, or did you have siblings?
I had two brothers, two older brothers.
Oh, so you're the baby of the crew.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I can certainly understand that because the baby affords a couple of different things and a couple of different detriments. I can say that as the baby of my family.
Yeah.
But as far as it goes, when you were growing up, now I ask this to everybody who's the last child. Did you find that you were looking at your brothers going, okay, well, he's this archetype, he's that archetype. I guess I got to find my own.
Oh, when we were young, our dad was very forward about how he wanted us to look at life. We didn't really see archetypes. We saw it just as the example of my brothers. My brother was one kind of asshole, and my other brother was the other kind of asshole.
Okay.
No, Dad always taught us that there's some few things that don't matter in somebody's life. Their skin color, what gender they are, where they come from. These things are never going to matter to you. It doesn't matter who they are. You got to look at their brain. But before you realize that, one thing that's very important is everybody's an asshole. You just got to figure out what kind of asshole they are.
God, he almost sounds like military.
He was a U.S. Marine.
Okay, then that definitely explains it.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, I was always told that if you're going to be bigoted on a case-by-case basis. Never make a blanket statement for any race, color, or creed.
Well, my dad was a very mixed bag of rocks.
Okay.
He was an entirely different breed of asshole. My dad knew every racial slur in the book. Every last one. And he would frequently use them with his friends of those particular races. But he wasn't actually ever really racist. He didn't have anything against anybody for the color of their skin. But he would love to do it just for shock value, which is a lot of where my humor comes from, is just pure, unadulterated shock value. I will say something god horrible, awful about somebody who I've known for years, just because it's funny. Like, if you had been watching one of my streams here lately, I do occasionally I'll bring Zach from the Dirt Roadman in to come shoot the shit with me. And we were talking about the time I had to stop him from blowing his head off with a shotgun. And it led down to this point of it was like, we have stopped each other from killing each other so many goddamn times. You think at some point we would have actually helped the other all out.
Well, I found that, and I think we can talk about this a little bit later, but excuse me, these headphones are making me cough for some reason.
Oh yeah, it's the headphones.
Yeah, it's the headphones. It's not the embolisms. And we'll talk about this a little bit later, but I found that the people who are more open start off with an education about not only sensitivity but insensitivity. When it's proper, when it's available, to use it not as per se a weapon, but more as a tool of camaraderie, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's the way I equate it is I consider myself to be an entertainer. I'm nothing but an entertainer. Like I'm not an intellectual. I'm not any sort of political leaning. I'm not LGBT. I'm none of these things. I'm just an entertainer. I'm here to get a few yucks out of people. That's it. And part of that is I know people are going to be offended. But if you look at me versus my two brothers, one of them went down the pure unadulterated criminal route. Never really did a whole lot. And then the other one ended up as a case manager, which, if you don't know, is a mental health specialist that helps people out.
Okay.
So one of them has a very, very PC humor, and the other has a very not PC humor, and I just kind of fell right into the middle, and I found that was very much my niche in life.
It sounds like it would make Thanksgivings interesting.
Oh, hell no. We don't talk to each other anymore.
Well, now this, I'm always curious too. When you were going through school, did you ever find school to be a benefit or a detriment? Like, essentially, either you're actually apprenticing for your future life, or you're just serving time.
That's a hard question because it really depends on the individual and where they intend to go in their life. I took 4 home ec classes. So I know how to sew, cook, clean, and for some reason make my own clothes.
Oh, well, they stopped doing home ec classes once we hit high school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I still had the opportunity, which I guess it's just a Kansan thing. But no, absolutely, I learned some things that I still have the capacity to use today. But as a whole, there were some classes that were absolutely meaningless, like senior English, where they have you read stuff like, God, what is it called? The Canterbury Tales in Middle English.
Oh, good God.
And it's just, that's useless as I progress through life. But stuff like math class, stuff like science class, stuff like even social studies, I loved all of those. I even did what was called forensics class, which was basically debate, and it was fun. And like that was what had inspired me to, when I got really bored, to try to take the bar exam, even though I hadn't been through law. And it was interesting. It was a very interesting experience doing forensics class, stuff like that. A lot of it you'll learn that stuff that seems like it's not going to be a whole lot of use. Like if you take trig, you're not going to use that unless you go into something that requires you to know trig. Mm-hmm. Yep. So you kind of end up taking some classes that are going to matter and some classes that are, just serving time.
So you're in your senior year. What road are you thinking of traveling? Just joining the workforce, going into college?
Well, and this is a fun one. During my my junior year, right before I turned into a senior, I had a nervous breakdown. Completely lost track of myself and ended up in a place called Stormont Vale West, which is a mental health facility. Mm-hmm. There they diagnosed me with some, we can get into that later, but
okay.
I do have an actual on-record mental health diagnosis, which is fun because people give you shit for it. But I went back and I did the high school equivalency rather than actually getting the diploma because I couldn't go back to the school because I had that breakdown.
Gotcha. Now, if this isn't deep treading, was it something happening to you socially, or was it something happening in the homestead?
A wide variety of both. See, the way I like to actually describe my home life was it was a series of injuries followed by making up for those injuries.
Okay.
That makes perfect sense. Contribute.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So that never really contributed a whole lot to my my mental well-being, and even to this day, there's times that you wake up and just be like, Jesus Christ. And I think the best example of this was a story that my brother Caleb had done. I was sick, couldn't smell anything. I was really ill, like nothing was getting through, and I had fallen asleep in my bed. And I wake up, and all of a sudden it's like, wow, it's really hot in here. My brother had poured gasoline on the mattress and lit it on fire with me still on it. So not only am I freaked out and partially on fire until I roll out of the bed and basically roll myself out, I now have to grab this twin-size mattress and drag it out of the house so the goddamn house doesn't burn down.
Holy shit. Yeah, that's not a prank at that point.
Oh no, it was never a prank. He's been trying to kill me for years.
Oh, well, okay then. Hell. Um, yeah, I don't think I've my older siblings have never purposely tried to kill me, but they almost have a couple of times. So,
Oh no, we were all under the understanding that we're always trying to kill each other. We were actively engaged in a constant state of trying to murder one another.
so it was like a battle royale then?
Basically, like it was very much ever since I hit 10 years old, my father had instilled what was known as the "take it outside and fight it out" clause.
Mm-hmm.
But I was small, so I couldn't necessarily do that. I'd just get my ass whipped. So we would always figure out little ways to get the other ones in trouble and occasionally put them in very life-threatening situations. And that was one of those situations where, yeah, he almost won.
So I'm guessing that age 18 was a time when you really wanted to move out.
Oh, hell no, I was comfortable.
Okay, you had your defenses primed?
Oh, yeah, basically. Like, at 18, I had purchased a single-action shotgun. And I had this long-standing concept of if some shit happened, I was just not going to play around anymore and put a slug in them. But we kind of all mellowed out after we basically started drinking.
You're saying alcohol was the cure?
Alcohol wasn't a cure for anything, but it sure as hell made us easier to get along with.
Okay. So so did you think of college or?
I never really bothered. Like I didn't see much. I didn't see much use for college. Anything that I could learn in college, I could learn on my own. And I loved doing that. I would love to just look up obscure bullshit for no apparent reason. I was absolutely the asshole who, when the teacher in science class, the very first year, they would ask, when they start getting into what DNA is, they would ask, does anybody know what that means? And I had looked this up right before going because I was bored. So I was in the library looking through stuff, and I was like, wait a minute. I watched Jurassic Park. What is DNA?
Yeah.
So the teacher asked, and I said, deoxyribonucleic acid, and they were pissed. Because then they asked me to explain it, and I had no fucking idea what it was.
Because I know shit. Yeah.
It was more a constant ploy to try to piss off the teachers, because my two brothers had already gone through their classes any number of years before, so they always had it out for me. So I just turned into a dick about it.
Yeah, with all my siblings going before me, they're like, "Oh, you're such and such brother," and
yeah,
and they had expectations, which I was very happy to disappoint them in.
Oh yeah.
So you get to the adult phase, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you find a career, or was it just just have a job to have a job?
See, I've had a few careers over my time. For a longer time, I was a oh god, those people that do the dry calls.
Oh god, a cold caller?
Yeah, like I was the guy that called you up and said, I'm a senior management official with Publisher Sweepstakes, and I'm here to offer you a certain discount for a collection of magazines, including Men's Health. How would you like to place your order today?
Oh god, I did that too. No. Oh man,
I hated that.
Yeah, there's nobody who goes to work after like the first 4 weeks and thinks that, oh, I'm gonna do this for the rest of my life. Because you can already taste the gunmetal in your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
So, but was there something that intrigued you that you were able to get in and do and basically make a living?
I never really took into the concept where I would actually make like a living doing a lot of the stuff I did. Like some of the things which aren't exactly on the up and up. It was how I made quite a bit of my money when I was very much younger. And then, after we bought the house and everything, I kind of chilled out, and my case manager ended up pushing me into getting disability, which is basically what I have now, is I'm disabled.
Wow. I hope it didn't take as long as it took for mine.
Aren't you still waiting for yours?
I'm on year 4.
Yeah. That's absolutely ridiculous.
And I've got the federal hearing coming up in 8 to 10 months. So, yeah,
I don't know why they gave me so much shit, but yeah, no, they, what my case manager had said was it was one of the fastest cases she had ever seen. And I think that's probably because they brought me in and I tried to stab the doctor.
Oh.
So.
Well, damn, maybe I should have tried that. Hell.
Apparently, it is a symptom of a diseased mind to try to murder the doctor who's being an asshole.
Well, I won't say kill assholes, but, if you want to make them walk funny, I have no argument with that.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't have actually killed him. I'm just a wound. Just enough of a wound to tell him I wasn't fucking with him. But again, that's how Dad taught us.
Now, I mean, you're older now. You've had time to look back. Do you find it to be detrimental?
What?
The education that your father gave you.
I don't know. I've kind of moved past it, rather than I find it detrimental. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of memories that I would rather not remember. But it's one of those things. You just can't really get a whole lot past it. But suffice it to say, when I say shit like I know what people and pets taste like, I'm not fucking with you.
I don't think I've actually eaten anybody, but I did try to serve some flesh to someone once. But that's a long story.
No, that's what Dad had ended up doing. Like, we were having spaghetti one time, and he had just gotten one of his tumors excised, and he ended up feeding it to us as a joke.
Wow. I'm pretty sure I might want to push past any Dad stories now. Jeez, oh Pete.
Oh, that's one of the tame ones. He actively tried to psychologically scar us one Christmas. Do you know what a My Buddy doll is?
I do.
Okay, so one year our mom had gone out, spent weeks trying to get a hold of these My Buddy dolls. She had gotten one for each of us. So Dad, in his infinite wisdom, the night before Christmas, allowed us to watch our first R-rated movie. Fucking Child's Play.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So we ended up opening up our Christmas gifts and immediately destroying them because we thought they were going to come to life and murder us, just like Chucky.
You know what? I don't know if I've got the capture here for it, but this is a different show, so I don't do the no context tweets. But yeah, I think for those who don't know, everybody probably knows the damn Chucky series, but they don't know but they do not know the My Buddy, and technically that's what it was based off of.
Yeah, there was more than one My Buddy. The one that she had gotten us was the ginger.
I'll do the blonde just so it doesn't freak people out. But yeah, that's oh wow. I mean, that's some amazing psychological combat there.
But nowadays, it's part of why people can't fuck with me. Like it's why I don't get pissed off at, like, online trolls. It's entirely because you can't do worse than my family did to me.
Yeah, and honestly, we're definitely going to get into that. So up on the screen right now for just a few more seconds, that's the Play School My Buddy. It's a real pal.
Yeah, it's a real pal.
And of course, And of course, they turned it into Child's Play, called it Good Guys.
Yeah. It's a real good guy.
Yeah, so
Charles Lee Ray, voodoo murderer.
although I'm still trying to get, not to get completely off center, but I'm still trying to get Brad Dourif on. Because he's awesome. But yeah, okay, so now we've got that down. I tell you what, what was your first inkling where you would like to, wait a minute, I should say this before we jump into it. We're at the bottom of the hour, so if you are unfamiliar with Ichabod Orange and his content, please feel free, jump down into the descriptors, take a moment. His Twitter, the YouTube, and of course, if you never played with Ask FM, this is where he throws out questions to the audience. You can send him questions, and he will actually video and answer them. Just make it intriguing, make it fun. And I have to disagree. Eric Foams, My Pet Monster, no, nowhere near it.
What, those blue goofy fuckers?
Yeah, the ones with the chains.
Oh God, those weren't that bad. We had like 4 of those. We used it for wrestling practice.
I actually had the Hulk Hogan wrestling buddy, and I was sad because I wanted the Macho Man Savage one instead.
Goddamn right.
Oh yeah. So if you're not familiar with his content, please feel free. Just take the 20 seconds, hop on over, do the sub, and ring that bell, because I assure you it's worth it, or your money back. I'm giving a money back guarantee now. Let's go ahead and hop into it, because I got to know you over the interwebs. What was your first inkling that you wanted to do something on the interwebs?
Oh God, I'm that's a rough one.
I mean, I'm guessing that you started with the beep boop modems of the 90s.
I did not start with the beep boop modems of the 90s. I actually started on my aunt's computer a long time ago on a channel that does not exist anymore, thankfully. It had apparently gotten hacked and taken down by some Christian group. But back when I was 15, 16, going on to about when I was 19, I was a member of the Westboro Baptist Church. And about 18, 19. Oh yeah, Westboro's not that far off from here.
Okay.
Speaking of, hi Shirley. If you hear my voice, you're gonna know who I am. Don't give me too much shit.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm intrigued just because good God, if you want to talk about a group that uses a certain type of emotion to influence, I don't think you could find anything that's. People always talk about SJWs and hate groups, and good God, I mean when you go into a brotherhood like that. What's the thing that brings you into it?
That's kind of hard to describe. I was very fucked in the head. So I just kind of wandered in one day and was like, hey, what's going on? And then, got taken in by the sermon and eventually started to become a little religious. So
well, and
I kind of stuck around. And then as time passed, I realized I was bisexual, so I started flirting with this young man that I had met there, and eventually ended up getting tossed out. And because of that, I actually started consuming quite a bit of atheist content. And I was an atheist for a short time because of it, and I did cringy atheism videos.
Well, and let's not downplay it. The minister who works there, I've seen some of his sermons. He's very good at what he does. Very.
Oh yeah,
good.
they're all amazing at proselytizing to you.
Yep.
But the thing you have to realize is, if it comes down to God, there's no God there. That's God's real blind spot. People like to say it's Tijuana. No, it is the Westboro Baptist Church.
Hold on.
Because no loving God would allow them to exist.
Hold on, you're roboting real bad.
Oh, sorry. Any better?
Yes.
Okay. So what I was saying was,
yeah, but I mean, a lot of people. I will say this: my great aunt followed Jim Jones.
Oh God!
And she followed him all the way from Indiana to California. She was almost ready to get on the plane.
God damn!
Yeah,
well, I'm glad she didn't.
Yeah, well, I would have never got the story from her because I was the only one who ever sat her down and said, "You got to tell me this story."
Yeah, no shit.
Why did it happen? You know, and that's the thing. I mean, you know what? There's a lot that people don't understand about how charisma works, and I'll tie this back into the YouTubes too, because there are people out there who might be shit personalities, but good God, they're overflowing in the cup of charisma. Oh, you're roboting again. Damn you, Kansas internet. Bear with us here for just a moment. We're going to try to fix this technical difficulty.
Come back?
You want to pop and pop out and pop back in?
Yeah, let me try popping.
Okay. And of course, we'd like to thank everybody for coming out this evening as well. I will say this and stand by this because we had a discussion on the IRS a couple nights ago, and I don't care how many subscribers you have. It's all about interesting people being able to tell interesting stories, and that's one of the big reasons why I've always said that I want to get Ichabod on. And things were rolling very hard and very fast, so I didn't have the opportunity. But the first time that I had the opportunity, I was like, hey, I got this spot open. You want to come on? And he was gracious enough to say yes. And I am definitely happy to have him here. And let's see. Hey, there's W in the chat now. Are you able to hear me? This may take a little bit of time, folks. And yes, when I was a student at Berkeley, I think I took a little bit too much LDS. You know, the damn free speech movement. And yes, Miss Allie, the Westboro Baptist Church is the church that
coming back now.
Yep, there you are. Yeah, I was just explaining the Westboro Baptist Church was the one that's like God hates fags,
yeah,
and spent a lot of time protesting military funerals.
Military funerals and the high school that I went to.
The high school? Actually,
yeah, they ended up protesting the high school, and that was you know, when I had really learned that something was kind of different about me. So that's when I ended up bailing.
Well, and really there, I mean, you were talking about how there's two important things that you were actually talking about, not just the heterosexuality, but
bisexuality.
well, no, I mean talking, because essentially that's what you believe starting off, and that changed for you. But you also mentioned the fact that you found that religion didn't necessarily have a place for you at that point.
Yeah, and it's not even necessarily that religion itself had no place for me. It's religion had no place there. Like you will never learn anything about God from the Westboro Baptist Church. You will learn Old Testament fire and inferno, and that's it. And it is, as a whole, wholly depressing. Religion itself was more of an outlet at the time. So like I said, I had started, consuming a lot of atheist content after that, and that made me kind of start doing cringy atheism videos back when I first came on.
Well, now the way
about 10 years ago.
Well, now the way that you're phrasing it is that you no longer have an atheistic belief. Is that true?
I am a minister.
Okay. And, basically Doctor on Call is no politics, no religion, no BS. But this is not preaching. This is basically essentially finding out in your life what helped to make you comfortable going down the path.
Of atheism or back down the road of religion?
Where you are right now.
I am where I am now mainly because I came to an understanding, generally a personal understanding of it. And what that is there's no evidence. Absolutely no evidence for God. But I have to separate that because belief and evidence are two completely different things. I know gravity is a fact. God, for me, is just... it's just something I believe.
Would you say it's more... Is it more like a life jacket? Or is it more like a... basically a signpost on the road to where you're traveling?
It's like an antidepressant pill.
Okay.
I feel much more comfortable with, let's say, my limited lifespan. With the fact that, I believe that there's some form of afterlife. Without that, I've gone completely fucking insane by now.
Oh no, I can believe that. Once I went through my oh God, what would you call it? Journey through religion. I'm basically existentialist. What happens. What I need to do is basically do my business in the breath that I've been given, and hopefully somewhere along the way, something good that I do shines on somebody else to help them go. Basically causing a chain reaction of goodness.
Yeah.
I really can't think of any better phraseology to put on it.
Yeah. No, that's to be fair, that's like I had quit doing YouTube when my channels never got above like 3 views and were all my friends. I quit for the longest time. And then I started doing something called the Spreaker Show, where I would just play music and then shoot the shit about stuff and then be done with it. But it leaded out to me genuinely wanting to basically have a positive impact. Like if you look through a lot of the various YouTubers I've hung around with my life here since hitting what was essentially Bane's open house, which was something that was it's run by Bane_666.au. He was an MRA YouTuber, which was interesting. He's very red pill, but mostly not red pill rage. But I had gotten on one of his open houses, and then I had met Red Robot, and I was ecstatic because I had been watching Hagbard Celine from a different time that Bane was streaming, and then I ended up, meeting Red Robot, and that was actually surprisingly life-changing for me. I decided that I was going to give this YouTube thing another shot. I was going to make it better. I was going to make it. And, I did a few voice actings for his Travels in Tumblr Space series. And then, oh God, who was it? There was a YouTuber that came to me and was like, hey, I don't know how to run live streams at the time everybody was using Google Hangouts. Nobody screwed anything else.
The roboting's coming back.
Chat.
Good God.
Check. Am I? Hello.
Okay.
Am I good?
I'm not hearing any roboting.
All right. It's bound to happen here and there. That's why you might hear the fan in the background. It's to cool off the room, because despite the fact that it's like 10 degrees outside, the room is about 94.
Well, that's why I don't wear pants.
And I know. But a YouTuber had come up to me and asked how to run Google Hangouts, because Hangouts was what everybody was using at the time.
Well, we actually did too. When we were starting rolling with Sisyphus.
Yeah, I was going to get to that as time passed, but
okay, go ahead.
I had ended up teaching him how to use Google Hangouts because he had showed up on one of my channels as a fan of my content and approached me to ask how to run Hangouts, and I showed him how. And then, ironically, I had been on one of Tonkasaw's streams back when he was just doing the old wrestle content.
Yeah.
And I ended up teaching him how to use Streamlabs, and said he should switch over to OBS. He eventually did. And then it basically came up to you and Sisyphus ended up coming up to me, and I was like, okay, so this is how you do everything. Because OBS, like anything else in my life, was something to learn. And eventually I came to the point where I learned how to use it pretty well. And you guys came to me being like, hey, do you know how to do this? And I was like, yeah, sure. And I basically gave you guys the rundown. And that's really what I am as a YouTuber now. Like, I want to help people. That's it.
I have to disagree. I don't see you as a tech support. I don't.
Okay, to be fair, Doc, I had to help Lindsay from Queer Kid Stuff figure out how to run a rabbit room. I am tech support. I just do more than that.
You should have just told her, no, it's not possible. And hopefully she would have quit.
No, I can't be doing that, man. Like, I know that everybody's kind of got like an issue with her, but during the whole Heart Progress thing, the pedophile group Heart Progress, the main guy that was running it took one of her videos, and like the whole rap group, which was the people that I was working with at the time, which was Raccoons Against Pedophiles.
Okay.
We had released like t-shirts and coffee mugs, stuff like that, all to be donated to at the time St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. But we found out that one of Lindsay's videos was getting used, and we thought we were all going to get rebuked. Like, get be gone from me, filthy, anti-SJWs. But no, like, she was very, very polite, very understanding, and because I had talked to her before with the rabbit thing, it ended up going to, she ended up filing a takedown notice on the video, and it ended up going down, and we considered that a big win, because that had been the first real spotlight that we had shown on Heart Progress, because we were all doing videos about it, but nobody was catching on.
Yeah.
We just got the Heart Progress members coming in trying to give us shit. But with that whole situation, I gained a respect for Lindsay that I can't, honest to God, lose. Because, I mean, if she does something significantly fucked up, I would change my mind about her. But the way I see it, she is very misguided, but her heart's in the right place.
I just feel bad for Teddy.
So does Toon. Oh, at some point during this, we're going to have to talk about all the bigger YouTubers who said they were going to come on and never fucking showed up.
What, to mine or to yours?
Oh, just to mine. Like, I'm sure huge people have, like, you get weirdly popular people on here. I have no idea why you're interviewing my ass.
Because I think it's important. Because you're doing several things out there that I've grown affectionate to, because of the fact that you're doing things your own way. I've never seen you bend or bow to any type of group that's out there, be it all the way to the left, be it all the way to the right, be it even the centrists. You're essentially doing your own thing. You're doing it in your own way. Like I said down in the descriptor, I think that's unique. I mean, even let's talk a little bit about your merchandise store.
Which one?
Well, you are basically doing merchandise, but you're not seeing any profit from it.
Yeah, that's the charity shop.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
We have another one.
You got the robot thing happening hard now.
Goddamn internet, please fucking work. Hello. Hello. Anything? Is it still robot?
A teeny bit, but it's better.
I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, we have the charity shop where everything goes to charity, and then we have the discount shop where basically somebody buys something from it, and then I have to send them back the money because if I don't, then they're getting. I feel they're being charged. Rajon is very expensive. Teespring, on the other hand, I can set it to where I'm not getting any profit, or any profit goes to a charity. And I like to do a lot of charity work because I don't give a crap if 10,000 people buy a mug and I get $1 for each mug. I would much rather 10,000 people buy a mug and then be walking around with a coffee mug with my face on it, and the charity got the money out. Thank you.
Well, I know because of the adpocalypse, there's a lot of people who spend a lot of time pushing those shops to see if they can, eke out that extra. Well, I get like 75 cents for a sticker, and I get like $2 for a shirt on Teespring, and that's okay. That's kind of nice, I'll see that money come in like once a month, and it'll be like, $10-15. So I'm okay with that. But I think it tells a lot about selflessness, where you're like, you know what? I think that can be better used someplace else.
Yeah. Well, we also have the Streamlabs, which we use for the after show, which we call Citrus Quest Extra. Which basically what happens is I open up a Rabbit, log into my YouTube channel, and then I pull up the movies that I bought with the money that people have donated through Streamlabs. And then basically we toss the link out into the Discord, and anybody who watches the show can come in and basically sit down and watch a movie with us. Last one we did was the Birdcage.
Yeah, but aren't you doing it on Rabbit?
Yes, we do it on Rabbit. It's the only site I can really use.
Damn it! We got that.
There was
we got that robot thing happening hardcore now.
Jack,
do you want to try to jump back in? Will that help?
I can try.
Okay. Well, we're willing to hang. Now, because I can fill time. Trust me, I can fill time. We've got about 10 minutes to go, and for those of you who are watching, anyone who's new, at the top of the hour, we're going to start taking your questions for Ichabod Orange. So please make sure and have those ready to go, because we will be happy to get those answered for you. I think Doctor on Call, if nothing else, should be a place where you're able to interact not only with your favorite current YouTube celebrities, but of course, those people who are interesting and at least interesting you enough to give a question. And that's pretty much one of the reasons why we exist. Sorry, guys. I got these cans on my head and it's just making me cough. It has nothing to do with the embolisms. So, also, let me just go ahead and pimp real quick. If you're interested in checking out more of Ichabod's content, his Twitter, the YouTube, and of course, his Ask Me Anything, Ask FM is down there in the links. Now, I do also have a Twitter, and it's open DMs. If you guys have an idea for somebody that you would like to hear me interview, it doesn't make a difference who it is. I'll go after him. Well, except for Bruce Campbell. Long story. But yeah, that one's going to be a no. I do have a Streamlabs as well. I also have a Patreon. And of course, I do have my TeePublic store with the ever-present bootleg Medicare merchandise on it. But one of the really important things in the descriptor is taking a look down at the prescription for additional entertainment. These are people that I find interesting. These are people that I think it's worth me personally spending my time to go watch. And I encourage you to, after the show, if there's nothing on or if you're bored, please feel free. Go ahead and click, because there's some great content down there. And these are people who, I'll be honest with you, don't have a lot of subs. But that's not because of the content. That is specifically because word of mouth just hasn't blown them up yet. And even as a basic thing, like Tonka, before his ascension, he would not have had as many if someone like Andy Worski hadn't pimped him out. And I'm not saying I'm anywhere near the Andy Worski level, but for those of my 400 plus subs, if these are people that you haven't seen before or you haven't checked out yet, please do feel free and check them out. Because I'll be honest with you, to me, they're personally worth my time. And I am hoping they will be worth yours as well. And we're also trying to get Ichabod back in, because I think this is a very interesting conversation. And I'm enjoying having a discussion with him. I'll be honest with you, the first time that I ran into Ichabod was what he was talking about. I was playing the sidekick on Rolling with Sisyphus, and Sisyphus said, "Well, hey, I know this guy Ichabod Orange. Let's call him in and see if he can help us out." And he did for the most part. I mean, we were still living in the land of ignorance, but he did help us get the first show up and on its feet. We limped along to the end, but we were able to actually broadcast. And it's kind of funny how YouTube works, because people will, people that you enjoy, people that you like having around, will just naturally filter into your lives. And I remember we did one show. I don't remember, to be honest with you, what the stream was. But afterwards, you know, like most of you know, that when a stream ends, usually there's about, you know, an hour or so conversation afterwards with everybody who was there. And Ichabod was there, and I was talking about, yeah, you know, I just watched the whole first season of One Punch Man. I just wish that it was subtitled, or that it was dubbed and not subtitled. And he was like, "Oh, well, here." And we sat back and watched like 4 or 5 episodes. Went into the morning hours, just watching it. And that was one of the things where I was like, okay, this is a good guy. I don't mind spending some quality time around him. And yeah, I don't know. I think everybody on the YouTubes will find people naturally, organically, to go ahead and follow, to find some time to speak with. I know on the Insomnia Ramble stream, you know, we have people who have 2 subs. We have people who have like 60,000 subs or 100,000 subs show up on the show. It does not matter, because of the fact that the playing field is leveled. So, if you're a no sub person, then there's no reason why you can't talk to somebody who's got 40,000 subs. It just does not make any sense to me, because I can't say argument, but that's the best word that's coming to mind. They present the best case. And I don't think that anyone should ever be devaluated for the amount of subs that they have. It's the amount of passion that they bring to the discussion. I think that's really what makes the best sense. Tobacco. It's delicious and nutritious. And I am not seeing him back into the chat yet, but I have not run out of hope. I'm guessing he might have restarted his computer. I'm going to send him a quick DM. You doing okay? I guess I should also take just a moment here to promote. Next week, after Ichabod Orange, we'll be talking to MMA fighter Tara La Rosa. And, of course...
Can you hear me?
I kind of hear you.
Sorry, I apparently I'm going to have to run through the phone. The internet's gone completely out.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, I'll go ahead and finish this pimp real quick.
Okay.
For next week, we'll be talking to Tara La Rosa. After that, we'll be talking to someone that you may never heard of, Joe Flynn. He's a super fan with horror. He has been following horror for over 40 years. One of the first people that I ever knew that actually had an internet show about horror. And then finishing up the month, we'll be taking time to speak with Blind Press. So, I can't think of a better lineup besides Bruce Campbell coming back and apologizing for essentially calling me an asshole.
Now, who could think you're an asshole, Bob?
Apparently, Bruce Campbell. But that's what you get when you call him on his personal cell phone.
Yeah, I don't doubt that.
But you know what? Let's hop into this, because you're one of the few people that can traverse the internet without somebody having a label put on you, like, oh, he's alt-right, or oh, he's an SJW leftist. I mean, is this something that's actually in the back of your mind? Do you really care about it?
What, labels?
About somebody trying to label you, in effect marginalizing you.
I don't really particularly care. I mean, it's never really been all that important to me. Labels are really kind of irrelevant in a lot of ways. Because, I mean, the moment you let yourself really get labeled as this or that, you're basically screwed. That's what you are the rest of your life. So, as long as you don't accept any labels, because you are an individual. You're not a label.
Well, I've always said that when it comes to comparing generations, the generations that came after me as well, that our generation refused to be labeled, whereas the generations that came after demand to be diagnosed.
Yeah.
And that's not a healthy thing. I had people on my jock saying, well, so who are you going for? Are you going for Andy or Tonka? And I'm like, did you not hear that I went on both of their shows and said, this is not going to fucking happen? One of you is going to back out. One of you is going to shit can this.
Yeah.
So that exists. It's so funny because I was kind of listening to Tonka today. and he brought me up as a defense about, not talking about doxing or anything, because we had a full show discussing the Garfield lasagna cat thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I just went in with the knowledge, like, yeah, I've met Jim Davis. I've met everybody who was together with the creating Garfield, so I knew a shit ton about the backstory on it. And
Yeah.
We didn't talk about, oh, this person's an asshole, or let's make fun of this person. I mean, it's like, why? I'm just, I will, and I know you've been there too, on the IRS, discussing things that have happened, and we've given our opinions, but I don't think in any way we've been trying to be influencers.
Well, yeah, no, like, I have this whole thing of I want to talk to everybody. Everybody always. It doesn't matter, like, if they're proven to be the king of the assholes. Because I wouldn't lie if Tonka approached me today and was like, hey, can I come on your show? I'd let him on. It doesn't matter who you are. Citrus Quest, as my show, is a neutral platform. It'll let anybody on as long as they're not going to dox somebody or they're a admitted, confirmed pedophile. Like, there's very few rules to not being allowed on Citrus Quest. And that's because it is not about the wide variety of internet bullshit dramas that have happened over the past, it's been like 4 years. And they happen constantly. They're never going away. So why would anybody sit there and screw with them? Like, what's the point?
That's true. And, by the way, let me just remind the chat that the Q&A is up and running. So any questions that you have for Ichabod, please feel free. Drop them in the chat. We'll make sure and get them asked for you.
Anybody gives enough of a crap to actually ask.
I think we'll get some. There are people who I have seen in the Citrus Quest chat who are here this evening. So,
well, yeah. I mean, I have a weirdly very dedicated fan base of people that enjoy my content. I have absolutely no idea why. It's all over. Sorry, but they do, and I appreciate it because, like I said, I'm not exactly king of the hill here. But, yeah, no, that's not what it's about. It's not about, like, more people watching. It's about helping the people that do watch have a good fucking day.
Well, and my wife got a teeny bit frantic because she's like, you have 275 subs. That hasn't moved in a week. And I'm like, so? I'm like, I'm not, if I was looking for popularity, I think I would stretch it out, and I'd go for the soft targets. But
yeah,
I don't care. I sincerely do not care. The people who are going to show up and watch are the people who are going to show up and watch.
Yeah, it's people who show up to enjoy the show, not that show up because, I don't know, fucking Tommy B. Fucknugget is going to be screaming at Jimmy Jones McJonesyton. Like, it's people that show up for the drama, they show up for the drama, and when it's over, they're gone. The people that show up for the show are the ones that come back. And, those people, like, they're either going to be a fan, or if you actually sit there and talk to them, they'll end up being quite possibly a lifelong friend.
Well, yeah, and I was saying that while you were offline. It was just like, talking to you, I just naturally gravitated towards. You're only like one of 5 people who's actually seen a face dox on me. And I'm completely comfortable with that.
Yeah. No, I can understand. Like I said, I try to be friendly with literally everybody. Not everybody will take me up on that friendliness, but it is part of who I am as a person and who I am as a channel.
Well, and there are people that I've run into that have tried to slide up next to me and gain favor just so they would have some ammunition on either myself or somebody else down the line. And, you know, a friend of mine described me as, you know, Doc is the kind of person where secrets go to die.
Yeah, no shit.
And I'm all right with that.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Jolly Rogers Bilgewater asks, who'd win in a fight to the death, Gary Busey or Andy Dick?
I think Busey's just crazy enough to win. Like, you've got to think, Andy Dick is one of those little asinine, wiry people that's really, like, it'd be an interesting fight, just because Andy Dick's just that little wiry bastard. But Gary Busey will just bite his throat out and not even care. He'll sit there and chew on it for 5 seconds before he actually realizes he's killed a man.
Yeah, I think Busey's, and I know I've told the story more than once. I did interview Gary Busey about 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, that boy's off his pins.
Oh, yeah, the man's fucking crazy. But he's a good kind of crazy, you know?
Well, except when he started doing those stadium shows about men getting back to religion. That just kind of made me a little bit antsy because he was still boozing and doing his hookers.
Well, yeah, I don't think Gary Busey's ever going to stop doing hookers.
And technically, if he's living his life that way, then follow your path, good sir. Follow your path.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, wait a minute. I don't know how this goes in, but Miss Steam asks, "Is his tits better than mine?"
Whose?
That's where I'm having the problem. I don't know whose tits that she is referring to.
Well, let's just leave it at Steam has a very lovely pair, and I would not deign to compare them to another.
I say I would say that I've seen the cleavage, and they are nice.
Yes, quite so.
And that in no way means that I want to see any more. I'm okay with the fantasy. I'm okay with the image.
Yeah, no, quite understandable.
And somebody, I've not seen this name before, but somebody named Cadunt says, "Why don't you like being called Daddy?" Mm-hmm. It sounds like this person is being a tad bit Cadunty.
Okay. Hi, Cadunt. There's a lot of reasons I don't like being called Daddy. It has to do with the years we said we would not discuss, and I'm going to leave it at that because, yeah. Suffice it to say, it's a very personal reason, and if Cadunt wants to know, I can let her know privately at some point when my internet decides to start fucking working again.
And once again, apparently it's a boob measuring contest because Catman Dingo is asking Miss Steam, how are your tits? Are they bigger than Cadunt's? And I don't care.
I'm not a big dude. I'm actually pretty average in my size. So yeah, that's the easiest way I can put it.
I've seen some cheesecake. I'm in my late 50s, so everything's starting to slide, so boobs are happening on me. So
yeah,
I can say that you're doing a good job not being assaulted by the moobs.
Well, to be fair, that's a very because of the medicine kind of thing. But Fair enough.
Wait a minute. Okay. Did you ever finish the story Doc sent you?
Which one?
I don't know. What story? Oh, I only sent you one story, I think.
You had sent me one as a document, and then you had sent me one as a kind of file that I can't open. And I told you that I couldn't open it, and then you never sent me the other one.
But yeah, I thought you were able to read the other one, or that one was readable.
I managed to read the one I could open, but the other one, like, I can't even open it. So
okay, well, we're kind of on the spot now at this point. Do you remember what it was?
Not at this moment, but I had to take a pain pill before we got started. So
okay.
I'm a little.
I was gonna say, because that will say a lot about my writing. If it so it's not memorable, but
that's all I can say. I remember it was good, but I couldn't tell you half the plot because they're kind of like meshing together with the stories Kadun sent.
Well, that was a follow-up question that she had. She wanted to know what was your favorite piece with the info with the stories that she had sent.
I like the one about the girl who was bigger and didn't find any other girl, and all that. It kind of pulled really hard at the heartstrings, and I can appreciate that in good literature. But that was most definitely my favorite.
I'm going to have to disagree with Jolly Roger Spilgewater. I don't think everyone does nudes.
What do you mean?
I'm pretty sure, especially in the time of the internets. You know, nudes last forever online. So that I honestly have to disagree with that.
Yeah.
No, that's okay. Miss Steam, I don't mean to sound offensive in any way, but I don't like nudes. It makes me uncomfortable. I mean,
I understand that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in the room and you're taking the pictures, completely different story. But yeah, as far somebody sent me snaps, and they were titties, and wifey was in the room, and I'm like, hey, come here and take a look at this. She's like, oh, those aren't bad, and that was it. There were no dick pics sent in reciprocation.
Mm-hmm.
So
see, with me, I actually do enjoy the occasional nude, but not for the reason that most people do. Like, I don't want to like beat the meat to a nude. Like, don't get me wrong, I do appreciate the occasional nudie picture, but the major reason for it is I am an appreciator of the aesthetic. Like, what a human body looks like. Provided that the individual is 18, please, if you're under 18, never send me a nude. But if you're over, I do actually get a kick out of it. And it's not because of sexual attraction. It's because I find it fucking fascinating. I love nudes for that particular reason. I find it completely and utterly fascinating.
Well, I mean, here's how you can tell how old I am. One of my fetishes are dressed and undressed photos.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, okay, it's not really any hardcore Rule 34, but you know,
yeah,
it's just one of those things that kind of that tickle my fancy.
Yeah,
and people out there will think it's completely vanilla, but you know, so be it. But,
well, you've got to think that, like, have you ever heard the old joke that somebody reads the Playboys for the articles?
Oh, yeah.
Do you ever actually read one of the articles?
Technically, yeah, because they used to have some great science fiction in it in the 70s.
I know, oh my God. Like, that's what I used to love, was the stories. But when it came to the like the actual nudie pictures.
Yeah.
Back when I had use of my left arm, like better than I can use it now when I could still draw, I would use it as artistic reference because I didn't fucking have anything else. Like I could watch TV, but I'm not gonna get a still image to look at to do with. So you would get the Playboy, and that's how you figure out how to draw the human anatomy.
Oh yeah, when I was taking art classes, they put me in an accelerated program. So I used to go to the college to do art, to do just basically art in when I was in junior high. That's one of the things I would use as source reference is Playboy. I wouldn't use fucking Hustler, because it's like, you know what, we don't really need to see meat flaps, because that's not. Let's have a little decorum, shall we?
Artistically, it's 3 lines to do the base vagina. It's 3 lines. There's nothing else you need to do to draw it, and that is like if you're getting really in depth into it, there's every little nook and cranny. And if you look at any of Samage's NSFW art, you can see everything. You can tell that the man has seen a puss before. But when it comes down to like your average everyday, like these people are at some point going to be wearing pants when you draw them. It's 3 fucking lines. It always is, because you're just like, okay, that's where that is. Let's move on.
Oh, dude, I used to Merkin them all the time. Well, that's the era that I grew up, so, hey, just scribble, 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 done.
I'd trace over it, and then figure out, like, where the lines intersect and everything that you would need to actually do something like that. But my whole ability to do art kind of died in a different time. I guess I should probably... Like, if it comes down to it, we can talk about that.
Well, I tell you, I know your frustration, because, when I would have my little mini strokes, the first time I had when my first mini stroke came around, I should say, that I found, to keep the boredom away, I started doing artist trading cards. Trading around the world with other people, basically retraining my hand, getting the dexterity and the motor nerve skill back. And about every 8 to 10 months, I'd have another mini stroke, and boom, I'd be back to start. And now I'm back to the point where I can't do it, and I really, really miss it, because even if you're halfway competent at art, I've always said this is the same rule for karaoke. Even if you can barely hold a note, it doesn't matter as long as you're able to perform the action.
Yeah.
That's
it.
I mean, what's your level of frustration at, as far as being able to express yourself that way artistically?
I gave up. I completely gave up. Like, it got to the point that it had become just so overwhelmingly frustrating. There was no point anymore. I don't ever draw anymore. Today was the first day that I have drawn anything and like of substance in 2-3 years. And the entire reason I did was to send a picture to a friend that does a lot of the art for my channel. And I figured, break the boycott and try and do it with my right. And like it's not on par to what I used to be able to do, but it's something, and that's enough for me. Like, she liked it, so.
Well, I can understand that. Because I'm right there with you. There's gonna be the day, and to be honest with you, I'm still a completely stubborn bastard. There's gonna be a day when I'm gonna be able to do it, at least functionally.
Yeah.
So I have not, I've not thrown in the towel yet. Um, let me, I don't really know how to bridge this, but it seems to be a very important topic in your life. Um,
Yeah.
can we talk about the cancer?
Oh God.
I mean,
We can.
I know you've probably done it ad nauseum,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I mean, I mean, if we're just going to verify that, yeah, it does exist, that's cool. We can move on because I've got 4 or 5 other deep questions to roll on you.
Hmm. Well, yeah. Late 2017, I was diagnosed with stage 2 non-small cell Hodgkin's lymphoma. So that's about it. Like, I had a surgery on the lung that it was in. I tried a lot of medications, which is why you'll notice that I've got the crap ton of bald spots in my hair and all that. But overall, yeah, that is a thing. Um, I don't ask for sympathy for it. I certainly don't ask for like any kind of like charity for it. It's just it's a thing. It is a reality, and it's something that you either have to learn to deal with or try to get sympathy for it. And I have no interest in anybody's goddamn sympathy. So
Yeah, I mean, the reason why I bring it up is because there are so many people out there who are presenting so many different problems slash afflictions, and they have no idea when something hardcore like that drops. They're basically when they do this, to me, it feels like they're picking low-hanging fruit. That they're just trying to play on the sympathies of other people so they can get some type of revenue stream happening. Now, I know personally I've addressed the things that have happened to me, but I've never, ever asked anybody to have, the only phrase I can think of is medical sympathy on me. Because you know what? It's just shit that I've got to deal with. The only time I want to see people throw money at me is if they're enjoying what the hell I'm doing.
yeah.
I mean,
Well,
that's...
like I said, ever since, like, I used to go on the cunt stream back when it was the cunt stream, right? And ever since back then, I've said consistently, look, don't ever do no goddamn charity shit for me. I don't care if I am on the floor bleeding out and dying, don't do it. And I've maintained that this entire time. I don't want to garner any sympathy for anybody, but I do absolutely want them to enjoy the show and the after shows that happen, and that's all.
Well, yeah, I went on to Irate Prostate's show, and he was like, "So, do you want to talk about the medical problems?" I'm like, "No." Not to be a dick, but no. I mean, it's essentially hurdles I have to get over, but it's nothing that actually qualifies or quantifies me.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I became very interested in you, because you seem to be the exact same way. It's like, fuck it, this shit happens, move on.
It's not even that you move on. The entire point of it is what the fuck am I supposed to do about it? It's just a reality. Like, it's the same thing with you. Like, I'll sit there and tell you, you ain't allowed to die for me, fucker, but that's about it. When it comes down to it, that's all I can say is, I'd rather, kick the bucket before any of my friends do, because, I don't want to lose them, but what are we supposed to do other than accept it?
Yeah,
Shit happens.
Yeah, I mean, I don't dwell on the fact that, I've got an oncology appointment next week. It's going to happen. And you know what? It just happens. Who cares?
Yeah.
That's just, it has nothing to do with what I'm trying to provide on the YouTubes. And
Yeah.
and I think a lot of people uh, basically wrap their content around stuff like that. And I don't know about you, but it angers me.
I don't know. I don't think I have the capacity to actually get angry about it. Like,
Well, I mean, because they're looking for marks, you know.
well, some of them, yeah, but like, the whole reason that it got brought up on the cunt stream was Little Miss Anonymous all a while back had I think it was cervical cancer, something like that.
Yeah.
But there was a big charity stream, and we all participated, and basically it led on back to the discussion happened.
Isn't that the one that eventually bought a bunch of pot with it?
No. Little Anon's. There's a history there between me and her, but she's not a bad person. She's a wonderful person. I can't ever say a whole lot against her.
Well, who was the one talking about?
Sevi.
Who was it?
It was Sevi Rose.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was the one that ended up doing all that shit, and
yeah, I mean,
yeah.
That's the bad thing. There are more examples of people being foul than there are people being genuine. So you'll never see me, and I would dare say to speak for you that there will never be any type of cancer or medical stream for either one of us.
No, I think I did do a thing because I think my cable was going out, and I had to switch providers because they weren't going to provide me with cable anymore. But I think that's the only, hey, you want to help a brother out stream I ever did.
Well, yeah, I mean, I put my hat in my hand, and I asked people to help me out to get the computer that I have right now, and I'm forever grateful for that. Because, and honestly, it pays back twofold. Because there are people out there who thought that I was worthwhile enough to throw money at. I mean, okay, let's go into this. You're on the YouTubes. You're doing your own thing. What's your payback?
The people having fun. Like, be it the guests or the people watching, as long as everybody's having a good time, that's all I need.
Well, yeah, but to be honest with you, there are a lot of people who have trouble wrapping their minds around that.
I don't know what to tell them. I mean, like, that's, like, don't get me wrong, like, if, I get a chance to hang out with people, that's good for my mental health. But aside from that, I nothing. Everything I get, I really put back into the channel.
Well, yeah, and I've had many discussions with many YouTubers behind the scenes, and there are people who are incredibly genuine, like yourself, saying, I'm doing this just for the joy of it. Whether it's personal joy or I can infect somebody with joy. And there are other people who are there simply for either monetary or ego reasons. And those are the people that kind of eventually slide out of my life.
Yeah.
Now, if there's people listening in the chat that are even thinking about doing a show or doing streaming, making videos, whatever the format is, what would you share with them as far as being able to get maximum personal value out of it?
Do something you enjoy doing. Like, look at what was his name? Names Junkie. He does rant videos because he enjoys making rant videos. I do Citrus Quest because I enjoy making Citrus Quest. I love joking around with people. Hell, back when it was just a shit show, I loved doing that because that's part of what it was about. But just do something you enjoy, because let's be honest, if you ever do manage somehow to get super successful, which I don't think a whole lot of people ever really will, if that's what you want and that's what you pull off, that's what you're gonna be doing. Like that's why I say with a lot of these, like the anti-SJW YouTubers, like, I hope you're comfortable talking about stupid people the rest of your life, because that's all you got.
Yeah.
There ain't nothing left there for you. Because, like, look at what happened with Angry Joe when he switched from doing game reviews to a Game of Thrones viewing party videos.
Yeah.
He got a massive amount of backlash for it, and it's because he deviated from what his fan base wanted. And that's why I don't think I will ever have a big, a big fan base, and it's because my content is all over the place. Because I just do whatever the hell I want to do. Like, if you look at the unedited attempt at voice acting, that was a spur-of-the-moment decision between me and Miss Steam, and we were just like, all right. We're already laughing our asses off. Let's record it. And then I just put it on the channel, and it's because we were having fun, and those genuine interactions are very much missing in a lot of the YouTube streams that get really big. Because, I mean, and I hate to bring it up again because I know it's one of those things, but like the Kumite, aside from having seen tweets from No BS before, I never interacted with the dude before. I didn't have a fucking problem with him. I mean, yeah, sure, the moment I came on, he was a contrarian little prick, but there was nothing else. There's no other reason for me to go on there and yell at him except for, like, just because it was there and people went on to have fun, and I went on there and I genuinely had fun doing it. But it's very artificial, and it's because people are chomping at the bit on shows like that to get on and just yell at somebody, and a lot of the time they're not thinking about why, they're thinking about going on. And where, yeah, no, I enjoyed it, it was pointless. Absolutely pointless to do. And that's missing. And I think if you can have genuine interactions with people, genuinely have fun, and just be honest with people. If someone were so inclined to go through my Ask FM, they would find a conversation I had with somebody who asked, what was it? It was, what do you do if you find out that you've been in love with your best friend for 4 years? And I said, don't do nothing. It would be dumb to, basically. They just realized after 4 years that they're in love with their best friend, but they've never, even discussed it. And my whole concept with that was, yeah, it would be stupid to do anything now, because you've been, in a friendship for 4 years with somebody. I mean, if you want to go bang, go ahead and do it, but if you want to try to start a relationship with that, you are laying 4 years of a friendship on the table on a whim. And no, it's not worth it. But that brutal honesty is not well received. Like, if you look at, like, Minty, she'll tell you exactly what the hell she's thinking every time. Minty will not pull any punches. And it's because she has lived her life blunt. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're not ready to be completely honest with somebody, then why the hell even bother? And, it has burned some friends in the past, how honest I will be with people, because I will always, if I'm asked a direct question about something, I'm going to answer it. I'll only give my account, and if I have to, I'll leave names out, but I will tell the story.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have a specific difficulty because there's a little bit of the best I can describe it is political maneuvering, where they think that if you piss one person off or another, that's going to take subs away from you, or that's going to make you less popular, and
it will.
And
but why?
I was going to say, why give a shit? Because essentially that's people that you really don't want to have around your content anyway.
Yeah. Like, I've distanced myself from a few people that,
we have lost OBS. Hold on. Okay, it's reconnecting. There we go. Go for it.
Like, there's a lot of people out there that I've lost because I can't justify it anymore. Like, if you look at, like, the co-hosts of my stream, when it first started all the way back, Super Fucko had to leave because his health couldn't do the show, which sucked. Red went into doing Sunday Funday more and more often and doing his own content, and I had to leave because it wasn't gonna, like, pan together. Miss Steam left for a while for personal reasons. Miss Owley does the Wednesday show. But even with Minty, Minty is very much, and it's nothing against her, but she is very much somebody that will drag you into her problem. Like, if she gets into a fight on Twitter, I will be part of that fight on Twitter. So I eventually had to distance her as the co-host for my shows, because if I had her on, she would fight people. And but a better example of somebody who can separate the two is I co-host with Chambers, and Chambers went through all that drama during the Daddy-ified situation with all the great big YouTubers. Went through it with the what was it called, the Kilroy stuff.
Yeah,
but that doesn't come up because it doesn't matter. It's her past, not mine.
Well,
yeah.
Well, let's see here. Victor Rand says, you know what's funny about the Kumite? I mean, everybody hates Tonka. No one trusts what he says. I get that, and I'm kind of one of those people, but you can't deny Kumite was a fucking nuclear bomb on YouTube. Like, it rippled out way more than it should have. Well, here's the reason why it did that, Victor, and that was because of one guy, and that was Andy Worski. And he's not getting any props for the fact that he shilled for the Kumite on his channel for months on end. He went on to the Kumite and did his step and fetch it routine. And that's one thing that people really don't want to acknowledge it. But those who were there know what happened. And then once everything blows up in their faces, I can only think at that point, because I know there was a certain person who said, I'm not in it for the fame, blah, 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 this and that. But once he got the fame, things changed.
Yeah, and that's...
Well, and honestly, I think that's the big mark of any YouTuber. What happens when they get success? Because they always say that success amplifies who you actually are.
Well,
I don't know.
You got to think about this, Doc. When it comes down to it, who actually was always at least kind of trying to help during the Kumite, ever since it first started into when it fucking collapsed? There was two people who were always at least kind of sort of trying to help, doing their best to run, a lot of times run interference, which, it's what the internet would call the gay ops. But they were always running basically running everything and running the interference. And a lot of people will say that it wasn't the case, but Failure was one of them.
Yeah.
Failure was always dedicated to the show, which is ridiculous because like it seemed like he would like be falling asleep or doing something else or all this or all that. But he was always, even like when he would wake up, he was sitting there. He was part of it. He was part of that show. And the other one was Vamp, because she was running the production stuff.
Yeah, I'm still having trouble figuring out why they're shitting on Vamp so hard.
I don't know.
I mean, just
But
like it's almost like they're trying to pick a soft target.
And in the end, Vamp is not as soft as most might think, but
No.
she is a softer target. Because you got to admit, you're going to hit Tonka. Tonka's going to just hit you with a stone wall.
Yeah. I mean,
Because
he's got he has a wrestler mentality. And I've been around a shit ton of wrestlers. Even if they're indie wrestlers, same mentality.
Yeah. But Vamp, on the other hand, is she doesn't have the wrestler mentality. She's got the, I would call it the old Kansas girl mentality. Because it's like, fuck you, I do what I want. But internally, they're crying a little bit inside because they don't want to be hated. And Failure's even then a harder target than Vamp is. But when it comes down to it, like, there's a lot there that people got hit that shouldn't have got hit.
Well,
there's a lot of that.
Well, yeah, but it's just one of those things where they're looking to find the chink in the armor, so they'll go after pretty much anything. I've personally never seen you go after anybody, except if they were just being a flat out dumbass. But you were making a comedy routine out of it.
Yeah, and like,
and this
the only person I've actually genuinely went off on your show was Geek.
Yeah, and this leads me into the discussion that we had basically brushed against, and the fact that if you've got somebody that you consider yourself friendly with, you should be able to, like in real life, bust balls.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've had you do that on me. I think you've done that on Kadant more than once, but we consider ourselves within the friendship, so that's okay. I am completely all right with that. People that I'm comfortable with, I am completely all right with them busting my balls.
Yeah, but you've also got to figure that that's a double-sided sword, because there's also the people that I get friendly with, and then somebody will go after them, and I will tear into somebody just going into what I would consider a genuine good person. Like, you got to figure if I on that same vein of like I'll bust balls on people. With Chambers, I always sit there and tell her, like, at this point, you should just get an apartment under that bus as often as you get thrown under there.
Wow.
And that's a good joke, and she gets the joke. But I would feel like if somebody actually genuinely attacked Chambers, like in a very personal way, like I would probably tear into them, because as much as like and I hate to say it because it makes me sound like a dick, but as much of the nicest guy you will ever meet I am, I fucking burn your house down if you piss off one of my friends.
Yeah, and I mean, it's the whole thing of those who consider themselves internet friends. You will see them go back to back. And there's been a lot of it lately to where it's like, okay, I don't know for what reason that they're doing it, but, they're like, oh, friends for life, we got the tattoo, or we got the necklace, with, you've got one half of the heart and I've got the other half of the heart. And these people all of a sudden flip the switch and just start burning shit down. And I just don't understand it. I honestly have no conceptualization. If these people were in fact friends, then you wouldn't do this.
Yeah.
And
And
I think that just amazes me.
yeah, there's been a couple of situations that kind of went that way, where I would make a friend with somebody and then they just disappear. But what they don't ever seem to do is like I get some attacks on me, and rather than showing the fact that that it does bother me, because it genuinely bothers me. Like one of the ones that kind of gets memed on is a dude called Yobi Axis.
Okay.
And we met in the B list, which was Red Robot stream, and we were really cool with each other for a long time. And then he went down and started going after me, and despite the fact that like if I'm in a stream or like a hangout or like in Discord, I will just laugh it off, act like it doesn't bother me. It does. It honest to God bothers me. And it's because that was my friend. That was my buddy. Like I had that dude's back, and then it's just gone. And then the pot shot me. And even though, like I've had the problems with the people before. Look at how things went down with Liz. Look at how things went down with Zeph. Like these people were at one point my friends. And yeah, like though I will occasionally get attacked by them. I try not to show that it bothers me, but honest to God, it does. It does bug me. Because these people were people I would consider my friends. These are people that, like... and that's the really ridiculous part about it, is because people will always sit there and tell me, don't make friends on the fucking internet. Yeah. And then I look at it and I'm like, yeah, no, I get it. Don't make friends on the internet. But, man, I wish I could. Wish I could be friends with these people. I wish I could, honest to God, say, like, this is a person who's part of my life. And anybody that's watched my channel saw the Mochapocalypse stream when Mocha was coming out to visit. And that meant more than a lot of people would normally say. And the reason that it meant so much is because that was somebody I met online. That was somebody that we went through turmoil. Like, she and I didn't like her when I first met her. I was not a fan. But she kind of grew on me. And as that went on, she became a part of my life. And she became a part of everything it was. And then finally she had come down to visit. And I cooked dinner and all that shit. And we did the Mochapocalypse stream. And it was good. And it matters. Because that's the next step of the friendship. That's somebody that's actually fucking visited me. And that matters. It does really, honest to God, matter, because you've formed what could be a permanent friendship with that person. And it would really suck if somebody like that disappeared out of your life, because they become that part of your life.
Sure.
And sure. I know I'm rambling like a fucking idiot.
No.
But yeah, no, there's some people that have walked out of my life, and I do miss them. And if that person comes back to attack, yeah, of course it fucking hurts. Yeah, you're getting to me, but I can't show it because I'm live, or I'm talking to people, and I'm in that space of I can't show that weakness. But when I'm off air, yeah, no. As a side note, like, Liz, Yogi, dude, I do kind of miss you. I hate that you came after me. I hate that I got hit because I went on a different person's stream that you didn't happen to like, and I was honest with them. Like, I'm sorry. Like, down to it. I won't fucking lie to people. And that's the end of it, man. That's the end.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, I just recently, because of the Knoxville thing, I met up with several people that, were nothing but avatars before then. And, I kind of got an affinity to them. And, this this upcoming next month, Miss Allie's gonna be around my neck of the woods.
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, she and I have had discussions, of course, but I don't know what's going to come of being able to meet her face to face.
Yeah.
But I'm holding a positive aspect.
Yeah. Like I said, it just kind of comes down to that factor. Like, yeah, on here we're all just a bunch of fucking avatars, but you know, the difference between, like, if you're talking to a video game character, you're talking to somebody over the internet, yeah, I'm still a fucking person behind that avatar. I'm not a sentient raccoon that runs around a spaceship fixing a giant Gundam. I'm a person. You know, there's a dude here.
See, I didn't know you could fix Gundams.
Oh, no, that's some of the deepest lore on the Ichabod.
Well, I mean, that would be a skill. It's marketable.
Yeah. Oh, shit. I can comply with, what was his name? Elon Musk.
Get a little SpaceX action going. I can understand that. So, I mean, there are a lot of tribes running around. And from what I'm getting from you is that you would just as soon not be a part of any of the actual tribes.
I'm just who I am, man. Like I'm not behind anybody unless they're a friend, and even then, I'm not behind every asshole that's in that group. I'm behind the person that has become my friend.
Now, do you think there's going to be a point where you won't have to be so tribal on YouTube, or is that always going to be the case?
You don't have to be tribal on YouTube. It's people assigning it to themselves. Like that's right when it comes down to it. The people that assign themselves with these groups, like I'm with IBS, or I'm with the Ralph Retort, or I'm Markiplier, or I'm PewDiePie. You do that to yourself.
Yeah.
You don't have to. And if you're doing it, stop. I'm a Michael Jackson for you. Not Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan for you for a minute. Get some help. Stop it. McDonald's. Chicken McNugget, okay? Because when you tie yourself to a group, you alienate yourself from others. I probably have one of the weirdest goddamn friends lists on Discord. I probably have one of the weirdest goddamn DM lists on Twitter. And one of them, everybody else I've met hates. But I'm perfectly fine with them. And occasionally, yeah, I'll even hit them up for, like, their opinion. Because they're very much into the left SJW camp.
Mm-hmm.
And while, like, some of the shit that they say doesn't come out super great for them because they're part of that camp, I can get an insight that I don't have. Because I didn't grow up that way. I didn't have the experience of being that SJW type past what during my era, and I guess partially your era, was color blindness. Because that's what I was taught, was color blindness. Like, their race don't matter.
Yeah.
But like, they come from that era where it's representation and intersectionality and all that crap that people hate so much. But I'm friends with them not because they are that. I'm friends with them because I sat down, had a conversation with them, and felt that I learned something. That's really it. That's all of my criteria. If I can gain something productive from a conversation between us, I want to have that conversation. I don't care who you are. I mean, to be fair, pedophile, doxer, I'm not going to have a conversation with them because I can't justify that. But I would sit down and just as easily and talk with Riley Dennis as I would with Richard Spencer. I would sit down and talk with anybody of a controversial area as long as I feel that it's going to be worth something. If there's going to be something there.
Yeah.
But like the really hard part is actually being able to understand when there's going to be something there, because I've reached out to people before, and there just was nothing there. There was no productive conversation to be had.
Well,
so it kind of leaves out with just nothing to have.
Well, and people are like, oh, well, you're always inviting these people who are right-leaning to your show. And I'm like, really? Because, I mean, I've had people on who are completely far left. And I've even invited people like Riley Dennis, like Jeff and Memory Holiday to come to the show. And I have never in any way ever TMZ'd anybody. I've never Pearl Harbored anyone at all. And I'm like, the show is pretty much open, and people are like, well, maybe you should get this person, or maybe you should get that person. And the only thing I can tell these people is I will ask, because I'm not going to come into it with a preconceived notion. If there's something that is prevalent, then I'll probably ask about it. But I'm not going to ask it in an attack manner.
Yeah, I mean, why would you attack anybody? It kind of comes down to it with this point of, like, if you're going to just invite somebody on to attack them, why invite them on and all just to a fucking response video? That's what we used to do all the damn time. We just do response videos to people we didn't like, or just people that we didn't feel we could have a productive conversation with. But the thing of it is like, yeah, you invite all color of creed of people on there. Like, when it comes down to it, and I hate that I feel that I have to legitimately justify this concept because we're in front of an audience, but despite the concept of intersectionality and despite radical feminism, I'm a left-leaning Democrat. That's what I've always been. But I think very much that the election between Clinton and Trump is why people see me so far to the right, because I was rooting for Trump.
Yeah.
And the reason I was rooting for Trump was because if installed correctly, Trump would have been a complete and utter puppet president. He would have gotten nothing done at any point in time, ever. He would have just sat there with the little strings on his ass and done his thing. But because he's been attacked so much, so often, and so hard, he got the motivation to do shit.
Yeah.
And it destroyed the left on that. And that's why, for a lot of reasons, I sit there and, like, I don't tell people I'm a liberal. But technically, yeah, no, I am.
Well, my co-host is an admitted liberal hippie douche. And and we don't have any conflict with anything because the reason I voted for Trump was because of the fact that everybody else around me was pissing me off. They were telling me that this was a bad guy, and it's like, okay, where's your evidence? Well, it's a feeling. Okay, they're gonna put all the homosexuals and transgenders into reassignment camps. Okay, where's your proof on that? Oh, you don't have any? Okay. So you guys are just being dicks trying to get somebody who is infinitely more evil into office because there is proof that she's run scams and helped to let people die. And basically whitewash rape. And I'm like, I can't handle that. I cannot handle that.
Yeah, and like that's the thing. Like, let me propose a hypothetical for you.
All right.
For the 2020 election, a concept that nobody else is going to like, but I want you to legitimately tell me, honest to God.
Please don't say Kamala Harris.
Not quite.
Okay.
it's very much absolutely the Trump Pence situation with that. But hear me out.
Okay.
Tell me if you would not vote for this ticket just for the hell of it.
Okay.
Just to see Trump's head fucking explode at the concept. All right. Either Michelle Obama and Harris, or Oprah and Michelle Obama as the Democratic ticket. Tell me that would not completely decimate Trump.
See, I'm too OCD because I know that Oprah is too big of a pussy to do it. She will puppet master people, but she will not step up herself. But I'll be honest with you. I mean, if Michelle Obama runs, God bless her. You know, let her try.
Yeah, seriously, think about it. You think that would actually wholeheartedly beat Trump?
No, but still, it would be fun to watch.
Well, like the thing of it is like right now, as a concept, I've not seen a controversy about Michelle. There's been some for Obama. There's been some for Trump. There's been some for a lot of other politicians. But if you actually throw Michelle out there and get her to run as vice president and Oprah to run as president, there is no way Trump would win. And it's not even because he's necessarily a bad president, because I don't necessarily disagree with a lot of the stuff that Trump's done. He's promoted a lot of the things that I would wholeheartedly agree with.
Well,
but,
I'll be honest. I just like the fact that as soon as he got into office, he started crossing out Obama's executive orders.
Mm-hmm.
That
and he started pinging the media, which was hilarious.
Well, and he is the greatest Twitter troll right now.
Yeah, he's a presidential Twitter troll. That would be if we sat there and oh God, what was his name? It would be like if we sat there and elected Jolly Roger as the president. Tell me that would not be the exact same situation we have now. He would be just trying to piss people off, and he'd be goddamn good at it.
And I'm you know, when it comes to politics, I don't talk about my own personal politics a lot, but you know what? Give me somebody who has a substantial platform, that has a way to enact this platform, and who isn't trying to keep the door closed on their closet to keep all the skeletons from falling out.
To be fair, yeah, no. Like, Oprah would most definitely... Oprah most definitely has some skeletons in her closet she don't want to let out.
Well, I mean, if she finally come out as a lesbian, I would be okay with that.
But you see, that would be why she should run for president. Think about that. 2 African-American women running for president. One of them happens to be a lesbian.
And the other happens to be transgender.
At least mildly.
I tell you what, when they did the whole Ellen thing, have you ever seen the conspiracy videos? When Ellen brought Michelle out to dance with, and there's something...
Oh, and they would zoom in on the crotch, and it looked like there was a bulge.
Well, there was something flopping while she was dancing. I mean, that could have been a pad that had broken loose, but holy shit, that's a pretty thick pad.
Yeah.
But that kind of shit just makes me giggle. I love conspiracy theories. Now, if you were to say that you had a hobby outside of the actual YouTubes, what would it be?
Oh, see, now you're gonna get people thinking I'm a weeb.
Are you a weeb?
The best thing. It was an interesting class, and you know, before the last convention issue I had, I used to go to NakaCon up in Kansas City, and before that in Lawrence.
Well,
which was a big anime convention.
Well, you know that one of Aiden's big things was cosplaying.
Aiden used to cosplay?
Aiden? Oh, hell yeah. She cosplayed.
Huh. Neat as hell.
I don't even know if she does. Dude, just go on Kiwi Farms, because they were trying to build up a case on her. and they kept showing some of the cosplays that she did, and that's one of the points where I gained respect, because man, she was making accurate costumes. So I'm like, if you put that much effort into it, then you guys need to just shut the fuck up, because unless you can come up with a better Gundam costume, then suck my dick. And not in a metaphorical way.
Yeah.
Because my wife would be okay
one of the
with
things is, I stay away from all the boards. Eventually, once I build up enough, whatever they call it karma, on Reddit. Eventually, I'm going to make a Citrus Quest Reddit, but that's it. That's the only board I'm ever on.
Wait a minute. What's the actual topic going to be, though?
Just like suggestions for the show, any kind of jokes. It's basically the same as the Discord. It's just fucking around.
Okay, because I've got
basically the show, fucking around.
Yeah, because I've got shit on Reddit on my fourth persona, and I find Reddit to be incredibly masturbatory.
Oh yeah, no, there's a lot of the ones out there that are very much like centered around a channel. Like, I'm sure there's a Markiplier Reddit. I know there's a Suit House Reddit.
Yeah, I mean,
but
that's
the only.
Yeah, there's a TRR Reddit, and that's scary.
I have never gone to 4chan or 8chan.
Really?
I've touched Kiwi Farms, and I really try to stay away from Encyclopedia Dramatica.
Well, see, I ghost on 4chan and 8chan.
Yeah, see, I don't like to do it because I actually have a policy that's a long-term concept. And that long-term concept is I do not, under any circumstances, look at someone's docs. And that happens on 4chan and on 8chan, like the other drama sites. But I stay away from them because if I'm the dude sitting there reading it, I'm part of why they're producing it. Like, I'm part of the desire for that shit to be out there. And it's something that I would wish on my worst enemy.
Well, I'll be honest with you. It's more Kiwi Farms that propagates that retardation than anything else. But can we talk just briefly about the new B-Bay?
The new what?
Your new B-Bay.
Oh, Maggie.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. What about
her? How does that change your perspective?
Well, so here's the thing. I do not know how long I'm going to be around. Mm-hmm. Honest to God, I don't. Mm-hmm. Lord only knows if one day things are going to get worse and I'm not going to make it through it.
Well, I got one word, and then you can continue. Graduation.
Don't pull that shit with me. It ain't gonna work.
That's all I'm saying. AP and I have been talking quite a bit recently, and that's I'm like, you know what? You got a B-Bay, make it to graduation, and you've done what you can for fatherhood.
Yeah. Well, the way I see it, I'm gonna make as many memories with Mags as I can, because I know that there's gonna be one day when I'm not there anymore, and I don't want her to have the same kind of memories that I do. Yeah. Well, I don't want her to wake up at night when she's 30, remembering the fucked up stuff that happened.
Well, because I had no intention to take this to a dark place, but I'm thinking being part of someone who has helped to create life would be a little more bolstering to yourself.
Oh, hell no. See, here's the thing, Doc, and I know you're not trying to take it to a dark place, but I warned you it was going to end up there anyway.
No, okay.
I loathe myself with a passion. I don't like who I am as a human being. So when it comes to people in my life, it comes to this point of an honest desire of to relieve people of that burden
Mm-hmm.
that I am. And it comes to this point where I look at life of I'm going to try, but I know me. I can't make any promises. And I hate that. I hate that I can't make any promises to be a better person. And that's just to myself. Because if I make a promise to a person, I'll bust my ass to fulfill that promise. But if I make a promise to myself, I never seem to be able to pull it off. And when it comes down to it, I'm not a big fan of me. Hell, if you talk to the Zach from the Dirt Roadman, you'll know I've tried to get to the point of death more than once. And that's why my left arm doesn't work as well as it used to. And it was because, at the time I was with a young woman, and she had broke up with me, and I jumped off the balcony of my apartment at the time, hit there was a little wall where the mailboxes stood, and I kind of bounced off that and then landed on the concrete.
Oh.
And I wasn't upset that I lost my arm's full function. I wasn't upset that I busted ribs that I'm still, to this day, not taking care of all the way. I wasn't upset that I was hurt. I wasn't upset that she had left me anymore. I was upset that I lived through it again. And that's part of who I am. I goddamn hate myself. But when it comes down to it, I got to this point in my life where I just want to make everybody else feel better because I don't give a damn about me anymore. But if I can make somebody laugh, I've done them a good turn.
Well,
and maybe they'll give somebody else a good turn.
Honestly, that's not a surprising thing because people who are creative have a streak of self-loathing going through them. The funniest people you can think of right now have a streak of self-loathing that goes through them. And you have legitimately done something that I have never done. I've helped raise kids, but I've never created one. And because of my age, it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something that I'm hoping that somewhere down the line you can take pride in.
The only thing that I could actually ever say that I'm looking forward to is when Maggie does graduate, when she does become an adult and decides to move out of the house, she can say she was proud of me. That's it.
Yeah, I
don't have pride anymore. I don't have anything that I am proud of. But she makes it to 18 happy, healthy, and going somewhere with her life. I've done what I can.
Well,
and that's my last contribution, no doubt.
Well, people like us spend a lot of time with our hat in our hands. It's a sad but simple truth. I spent a lot of time with my mom, even though she was loving, and I was doing these things which were, I guess call-outs, point of pride. She would just look at me and go, "Okay, you did that, but what's next?"
Yeah.
So I can understand that, but I can't necessarily agree with it. I wish I had the ability to create life and to basically set that clock and go, oh, okay, well, this baby's born, so, one word, graduation. I got to make it that far.
Yeah.
But I don't know when it comes right down to it. Does the YouTubes offer you any type of ego stroke?
I'm not popular enough to get an ego stroke from YouTube.
Well, yeah, but I mean, seriously, even if, like, I know we were talking about this a few nights ago on IRS, that I'd like to see at least double digits on anything that I'm doing, because then I know that people are actually listening, and the old Fat Albert thing, hey, if you're not careful, you just might learn something.
Yeah.
But I think it's nice to know that people are listening, but at the end of the day, I'll say this now: it's more like catharsis for me.
Mhm.
I mean, when you go into it, okay, you've got no expectations as far as the watch count goes. Is there a catharsis for you?
Like, do I feel better? Or...
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, regardless if you're talking about something good or something bad, a catharsis as in, well, hey, I may have made people laugh, I may have made people think.
I guess I try not to think about it. I guess I'm not doing it for me.
Well, then what's your goal when you do a stream?
When I do a stream?
Yeah. Or if you do a video.
When I do a video, the point is somebody asked. Like, if I'm doing a video, somebody's asked me to cover a topic or talk about a subject. And so I put the papers down, and then I start. Go, dog. Sorry. Dog's being a dick. I put the papers down, and I do the research, and then I just talk about the topic because somebody asked.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to the streams, other people enjoying it. That's it. Like even the people that come on, like when Miss Steam would come on, it was good for her to be on the show. It would help her get more out of what she was doing with her channel. And when she left, I'm sure you've noticed that, like, when she left, I lost the drive to do the show. And that was very much part of it, was because the person I felt the show was helping was gone, and I lost my way on it. But now that she's done come back, like, the show's gotten back into its swing. We're doing it every week, and even the Wednesday show's the same way with Owly. Owly, though, on the other hand, I just want her to get more exposure for her channel, because she's criminally subbed, because she's got less subscribers than me, which is a fucking travesty.
So are you finding the value in it, that as long as the other people in the stream or in the video are being valued?
As long as I have somebody that I'm helping, I will always be doing the show. It doesn't matter if I'm in a hospital bed. I'll do that damn show if I think somebody's going to get help out of it, if somebody's going to feel better about it, if somebody's going to have fun watching. I'm always going to do it if I feel that there is value to others. But I don't do it for me. I never wanted to do it for me. When I first started making YouTube channels, it was for me, and it was selfish, and I hated it. But when I started doing stuff like the Shit Show and Citrus Quest, it stopped being about me, and I found much more value in it, because it came to this point of people are being helped, and as long as they are, I'm doing something. I'm doing something with my life. I'm doing something with my time. I'm doing something with the show, and there's a point. And that's the only point where that goes away, is nobody's watching, nobody's being helped anymore, nobody's having fun. And that's when my show died. And it will happen one day. There will be a day where I'm just not interesting anymore, and people stop watching entirely. But as long as there's one viewer, I'm gonna keep making terrible content for everybody to watch.
Well, and I have to say this, that yeah, I don't think that the real YouTube content creators are basing personal validity on how many viewers that they have. I think as long as they have viewers and repeat viewers, people who actively interact, because honestly, I've said I would love to make sure that I have, at least double digits anytime that I'm doing a show. But I mean, right now we've got about a half dozen people. And that's still okay with me because the chat is still active. People are still talking. And I think I think that's a thing where they're talking to each other, and in these bigger chats where they're just either doing the notice me senpai thing or yeah. I mean, there really has to be some type of validation, and as long as they're here, as long as they're getting that, then I don't see any problem with it.
Yeah. There's purpose.
Now, I'm going to give a last call to anybody who has any final questions in the chat, and then we'll go to the end to wrap it up. But while you guys are thinking about that, please do take a look down in the descriptor, because there are Ichabod's links not only to his Twitter, but the YouTube, and of course, the question website, Ask FM, which is very interesting. I've dropped a few there myself.
Well, I always answer them, and once they have been answered, they get posted on the Twitters. So they are always I check it every day. So if anybody ever has a question about something or a suggestion for the show, just hit me up on Ask FM.
Well, and by the way, Nursey came home, and she's asking, what's the weirdest question you've ever had on Ask FM?
Do I like tickling?
Does he like tickling?
That was the weirdest question I've ever got. Was somebody was asking me if I liked to be tickled. I don't, by the way. Aside from my arm, the rest of my body's really sensitive. So any kind of weird touch, I do not appreciate.
Well, I've got diabetic neuropathy, so tickling I have an automatic protection against.
I do too. It's called a swift elbow to the temple.
Yeah, I don't know. I was gonna have an AMA, but I'll be honest with you. I think I'm more the type of character who's there to interview and gateway people into other people. So an AMA about me would be just, I guess, kind of boring.
Well, man, you always get plenty of people to sit here and get watched.
Yeah, I mean, I tell dumb sex stories, but hey, that's just dumb sex stories, really.
Yeah.
But
all right, my phone's about to die, so I'm going to switch back over to the computer because it seems to be working.
Okay.
But I make no promises.
All right then, and I'll go ahead and fill in. And now, if you do have any suggestions for a guest, please feel free. My Twitter is down there. The DMs are open. If there's somebody you think might be fun to interview, because I only interview interesting people who do interesting things, and it doesn't matter what their sub count is. please feel free and send me a link. Send me a thought. I've also got my stream tabs and my Patreon down there. So if you like what I'm doing, you can kick a couple ducats. I do also have a TeePublic store, which has the very awesome shirt that me and Cadunt have purchased for ourselves, which is the Insomnia Ramble stream. If you guys don't know what that is, it happens about 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time most every night. And we just basically, well, we're the chaotic crossroads for the overnight internets. And of course,
Yeah.
please feel free. My prescription for additional entertainment is also down there at the bottom. These are people that I like, people that I support, and hopefully you'll like a couple of them too. So, I tell you what, Miss Steam does ask, does this mean we're going to watch a movie later?
I mean, that was the plan, yeah.
Let's see here. Jolly Roger says, Doc, remind me sometime to talk to Ichabod here about his outlook on life on the IRS. Okay. So there's a reminder. There you go. That's as far as I get because I do have brain damage and I do have short-term memory loss. So that's as good as it gets unless I actually scroll back through these, and I'll admit I don't scroll back through the Doctor on Calls. Although there's going to be an exception because I am to have Gerald Casale on again. The co-founder of Devo in a couple of months. And I just want to make sure I don't go over the same things that we covered.
Yeah.
But besides that, I'm a little guy. Fuck you. And Miss Steam does say yay. Apparently she's looking. So, what movie are you gonna watch?
I'm not really sure. A lot of the stuff that I have already got purchased on YouTube right now, we have already watched. But I am contemplating something special tonight, an anime that I haven't gotten a chance to really watch with anybody. But it's worth it to get a watch out of it.
Any hints?
Objection. That's the only hint I can give.
Okay. I only watched a couple of those, but I had problems with it because the subtitling was pretty bad. I think
I found it dubbed.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, you know me.
Yeah. Well, the major reason that like right now I'm not wanting to because normally I buy this stuff, but I just found this one on YouTube. But the major reason why I don't want to actually do what I normally do, because I actually, weirdly enough, also have a hardline stance against pirating movies.
Okay.
If it's a pirated movie, I won't even watch it. But specifically when it comes down to this one, it was dubbed by Funimation.
Okay.
And I have a serious problem with Funimation right now. So I'm not watching any of their dubbed stuff. And not paying for anything that they're putting out.
Well, they kind of suck on their dub stuff.
Well, if you get a chance, look up the Kick Vic and I Stand with Vic movements.
Okay.
And that'll give you more of an insight as to why I'm particularly pissed. Because if there's one thing that I really don't like more than doxers and pedophiles, it's people who lie to my goddamn face.
Oh, true.
Like there's very, very, very few reasons I will instantly cut someone off and permanently. But if you lie to my sorry. If you lie right to my goddamn face, I'm done. I'm not gonna sit down and talk to you anymore because it's at least have the self-respect to call me an asshole.
Well,
Don't try to hide behind being nice or anything. Don't lie to my fucking face. I hate that.
yeah. And now I'll be honest. My stance is, I will stream it for free, and if I like it that much, I'll go out and buy it because I want to hear the director's commentary and see any deleted scenes.
Yeah, no, it's not a bad thing. But like, here recently, the one I've been really wanting to pick up is Thundercats, like the first season of it, and it's completely free on the WB website.
Didn't I thought they did that on Netflix.
They probably have it on Netflix too, but I don't pay for Netflix right now. Mm-hmm. I don't have a Netflix. If I did, I'd be watching Castlevania. But when it comes down to it, there's a lot of stuff that I can't buy. But there's also a lot of stuff that I could get free, but I don't. Like Thundercats, the entire series was on the WB website. Like, sure, you'd get ads, but you could watch the show for free from start to finish. But I want to buy the first season on YouTube. That way I can, like, show it to other people or, you know, sit there and watch it in a rabbit with a bunch of people. But when it gets down to the very end of it, I want to support creators I like. It's why I've bought merchandise that I just give away to people. Like, I had bought a bunch of Team 4-Star stuff and ended up giving it away. And the reason that I give it away is because, like, I don't want it for me. I just want to support the creator.
Well, you don't have enough people to give away IRS merchandise, but, you know.
I'm sure if I picked some up, I would be able to give it away to somebody. Hell, I got a bunch of Yoshi Piccolo mugs and ended up giving them to Goodwill.
Wow, okay.
Which was fun because they had no idea what to do with them. They didn't know what the hell they were looking at.
Yeah, poor Salvation Army and Goodwill. They just kind of deer in headlights.
Oh yeah. Like they had an Asus laptop in the local Salvation Army, and they had no idea what this damn thing was worth. So they had put a price tag of like $150 on it. And I went in there and I look at that and I'm like, that's an Asus. And I'm like, yeah. And I was like, okay, can I take a look at it? Yeah. It turns out this thing is the top of the line gaming laptop.
Nice.
And they're selling it for $150. Somebody's mom got pissed off at them and took their gaming laptop to the Salvation Army. That's what fucking happened there. So I'm sitting there trying to tell them, look, you're selling this for $150. This thing's worth easy $2,000. And I'm like, well, we don't know anything about that. So I end up being like, okay, I'm gonna buy it. I buy it, and I fucking end up dropping it in the parking lot.
Oh, damn.
And it was gone. I'm still pissed about that thing. Like, the screen was out of the motherfucker. The keyboard was everywhere. Like, I dropped it on a corner or something because it fucking exploded. But it amazes me sometimes how cheap you can buy stuff, and then just things that don't make any sense are outrageously overpriced.
By the way, we have a Anubis in the chat just says Ichabod with a creepy smile.
Okay. That's it?
I have no idea what that means. I'm just warning you, if you're walking to your car tonight, just make sure look left, look right.
Yeah, no shit.
And of course, I always like to finish up because you've been very, very nice with your time. Is there anything that you would like to pass on, either as a general point or to YouTubers, about going further with what they're doing?
You want a reality or do you want something nice?
Well, let's go one of each.
When it comes to the reality of YouTube, if you want to be big, appeal to the lowest common denominator and be the biggest asshole you could possibly ever be. Make no friends, make no family. fuck everybody. That's how you get back on YouTube. You abandon every moral and judgment you have ever had, and you just be the most asinine person in the world. Worked for Logan Paul. It worked for Rice Gum. It works for fucking all of the big, gigantic YouTubers. They make no friends. They take all the names, and they kick all the asses. And where that works for some people, if you want to get something out of YouTube, if you want to make a channel, go for it. But stick to yourself. Stick to who you are and your principles, because you can make friends. You can make people who you could consider to be family. And they will be around forever as long as you don't be a piece of shit. That's it. There's so many people out there whose only criteria is to not be a piece of shit. It's not that hard. And I think in the end, that's all you got to do. If you want to get something out of YouTube that you will not get anywhere else, shoot the shit with somebody from England or Russia or Norway or Australia or somewhere you could never physically go. Mm-hmm. And just shoot the shit with them and be 100% honest with them. Talk to them like they're another person, because in the end they are. The world is your oyster with the internet. You can talk to anybody. And as long as you're not a piece of shit, who knows? Maybe somebody will talk back.
That sounds like good advice. And I will, once again, before we go off, make sure that you guys know the links are down there. Ichabod's links are down there for the Twitter, the YouTube, and the Ask FM. Of course, mine are down there. And the prescription for additional entertainment. I would like to make sure, though, for me, this has been an interesting and a fun conversation. And I would like to thank very much Ichabod Orange for stopping by. Is there anything else that you'd like to promote that's coming up?
Well, tomorrow, of course, is Owl Quest with you. The day after is Citrus Quest, and after that, I'll be on Chambers Channel by the Hearth. But when it comes down to things you should check out, I'd say go check out Miss Steam's channel. She does great content. And swing by Miss Owlie's channel. It would send her some love from the Coon.
Yeah, I've enjoyed especially the historical stuff she's been doing.
Yeah, the gaming and mythology shit is really fucking interesting.
Yeah. And yeah, if we're going to go with the old criminally under subtitle, then yeah, that definitely should have some more people watching it. But once again, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out this evening, especially our guest, Ichabod Orange. And I'd like to...
I appreciate you having me on.
It's a pleasure. And we get down the road, we'll probably have you back. So, think up some more silly shit to talk about.
There's so many more stories.
And I'd like to thank everybody. And once again, my name is DocGriffon. And for now, the prognosis is done. There is no diagnosis. And the doctor's office is closed. Good night.